This is your first look at Android Auto version 2.0, and this is the version that sits on your smartphone and you can have it there without actually connecting it to a car that has Android Auto. So that means that even your old school car can get new school smarts. So here you go, you have the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. What I'm doing here is I'm using Miracast to put it onto the nav screen. So in this case, this is a Bimmertech device for older BMWs, and you can actually basically mirror your phone onto the nav screen. For other cars, you could get an aftermarket unit, but the point here is that as long as you have a phone, you've got Android Auto now. So you'll notice right here on Android Auto that these icons are large and they're on the right-hand side, whereas on AutoMate and some of the other Android apps, they were all right here on the bottom, and they were also very small. So if your phone is in landscape mode, if it's horizontal, such as it is here, then it's going to be difficult to get to any of these buttons right here on the bottom. So it's really nice to have these large icons here. So let's look at what these icons do. So first of all, there's your home screen. That's the circle down here. And it's basically just a summary of all of the different notifications for each one of these, and just one central place where you have everything. So you have directions, you have just weather, you have your recent calls and contacts, you have sort of different notifications from your messaging apps. In this case, it looks like it's WhatsApp. And let's go over to the map screen. Obviously, these are our navigations, but let's say if you hadn't already put in an address, what do you have here? So you press the magnifying glass there, and you get a couple of options: search along routes, gas stations, restaurants, and then if you click it again, you'll actually get the actual destinations that you want to go to, recent destinations, or you could type in a particular destination here, which I'm not going to do right now. On the phone screen, you get your recent contacts, but you can also use the dial pad as well. There you go, there's your recent contacts, where you can use the dial pad, either one. I'm just pressing the back button right over here. That gets you back over to the recent contacts button. You also have your choice of various different media players. TuneIn Radio happens to be one of my favorites, but you can choose other media players by simply tapping that headphone button one more time, and you've got a list of different ones depending on what the apps that are already installed on your phone. So for example, I can head over to Spotify. It'll take a little while to load up here, but right after it's loaded up, you can actually check all of the different playlists on your Spotify. You can browse some different options on the contextual menu over here on the left-hand side. So you can see that these are all different Spotify options, and then these will change depending on the app that's being used. So let's just say if I just want to say browse, I could say new releases, and sure, let's play the new Tribe Called Quest. So that is quite cool. But what's even cooler is that you have various different options. So if you press the microphone button here, Google Play Music is built into this, and even if you don't subscribe to Google Play Music, you could still use it. So for example, if I get in the car, all I want to do right away is play some Kanye West, for example. I can actually click the microphone button, play some Kanye West.
Here you go, asking to play Kanye West.
So again, I don't actually have a Google Play Music subscription, but it's built in. Some of the other things that were built in are also the ability to play radio stations through TuneIn Radio. So depending on the app that you're using, the commands can actually change. So I'm going to click the headphone button again. me go back to TuneIn Radio. And I'm actually going to use the microphone button to play a radio station. Play 98.8 BBC Radio 1.
Playing 98.8 BBC Radio 1.
And this way you're playing international radio stations, you know, while you're on the go. And it has support for support for all kinds of different radio stations. So, for example, if I look at my local radio stations, I could actually say any of these via microphone. It looks like it actually has some special stuff for our home teams here. If I go to my favorites, so again, just more tune-in radio options here. So I could have said 91.1 jazz. So, just for example's sake, I'll go back. Play 91.1 KCSM.
Playing 91.1 KCSM.
Anyway, so let's take a drive. Seeing this in night mode right now. Just switch to night mode. So as you know, we have this gas station button here. Let's actually try this out. You can see it's actually giving me some local gas station prices. Not really sure how accurate these are, but let's hope they're accurate. So 286 Shell, sounds good. And let's have it take us over there.
There's the usual traffic. The route via Berry Street and 7th Street is the fastest. Head southwest on Berry Street toward King Street.
This is actually a nice function. Regardless of the type of business, it'll try to tell you whether the business is closed, or in some cases doesn't actually have the business hours. So it just says maybe closed. In this case, it looks like it might be the case, but let's try it out. So if I go back to our media application, I can go back over here. The next time that I need to get some instructions, it'll actually put in notification at the top of the screen to tell me what I need to do next.
In 800 feet, turn left onto 4th Street.
Oh, there you go. Again, let's turn on something else. Let's do some acid jazz. And press the microphone button. Play Groove Collective Radio.
All right, asking to play Groove Collective.
Okay. So what happens if you get a text message while driving? Alright, so you'll notice your only option is to play the message. You cannot actually see the
Here's
message.
the message. Hey, what's up?
Alright, so somewhat helpful. And then, because I can't actually see the contents of the message, I also still have my phone's own notifications for my Messages app that shows the message coming in. And the reason for that is because sometimes you're not actually going to understand what the Google Voice is going to tell you. And here's an example. So if you get any kind of emoji, it really cannot describe the emoji to you properly.
Here's the message. Okay, sign skin type 3.
So I don't know about you, but I definitely did not understand that. Evidently, though, and here's the actual notification, it was like a OK emoji sign with the hands like that. So that's obviously a little bit difficult to understand. I'm not sure when Google's going to figure out the emoji to speech translation, but hopefully soon for the rest of us. Alright, we've got our gas, and so let's head back home. So I'm just going to press the microphone button over here. Let's go home.
Your home is 7 minutes from your location by car in light traffic. On your way home, there's the usual traffic. The route via Townsend Street and Berry Street is the fastest.
Alright.
Southeast on 2nd Street toward Townsend Street.
So now that I'm heading home, I actually want to tell my wife that I'm going to be home soon. So I'm going to do that right now by pressing the microphone button one more time. Send a text message to Artie.
Text Artie Denrias. Sure. What's the message?
I'll be home soon, honey.
Here's your text to Artie Denrias. I'll be home soon, honey. Do you
All
want
right.
to send it or change it?
Now, send it.
Okay.
Now, you'll notice it didn't actually show you the text
Message
message. So this is something Google needs to fix. So it should have shown you the text message so that you can verify that it actually wrote it correctly. But you know what? Let's just make sure it got sent. And looks like... Hey, there it is. So it looks like it did get it right. But it would have been helpful if we'd actually seen it on our actual screen over here. But hey, it's good enough. So we're going to head home. Thanks for watching.